Should you quit your job to run an OnlyFans management agency? So this is a big question that a lot of people have been asking me, and I want to make this video to give you guys a little bit of clarity in terms of what you should do. So yes, OnlyFans management is an insanely lucrative business model. And as for the answer to whether you should quit your job, I wouldn't do it just yet until you watch the whole of this video and you can tick off all the boxes that we're about to discuss. This is a video where I encourage you to sit back and do a little bit of self-reflection in terms of where you're currently at in your life and yourself as an entrepreneur as well. So we're going to get straight into this video. We're going to be asking a few questions and I'm going to be giving you the answer. And based on that, you can figure out whether quitting your job is right. The first question I would ask you is, how many models are you managing? Because if you're not managing one model, I would not recommend quitting your job. Because the truth is that getting a model for OnlyFans management is very easy. Some people put it on this massive pedestal, but it is really easy. You don't need any major commitments to sign your first model. You can just send a few basic DMs and start getting a model who's interested in working with your agency. Take it from me, for example. When I started my OnlyFans management agency, I was still in my 9-to-5 job at that point. And I was doing, every time I got home from my job, I'd spend a few hours in the evening building my OnlyFans management agency, doing outreach, getting models. And I was able to scale it up to around about 3 to 5 models before the workload got too much and I had to quit my 9-to-5. So as for the answer of when you should quit your job, if you don't have one model, chances are you're not ready for it yet, because there's nothing stopping you from getting your first model now without quitting your job. Now, the next question to ask is, does your job get in the way of your OnlyFans management agency? Personally, for me, it didn't get in the way because I'll be showing up to the office around about 8:30 and I'll be finished at 5. And that means I had the whole evening to actually work on building my business. But if you're in a situation where your job's like 12 hours a day and by the time you get home you're absolutely exhausted, then maybe the job is getting in the way. And if that's the case, then it may be worth taking the plunge into OnlyFans management, as you're putting your back against the wall. You've got no choice but to get that first model signed. And the majority of the time that I've noticed, for myself at least, it's been when my back has been against the wall. That's when I have the biggest effect and results on my business, because you've got no choice but to perform. You've got no choice but to actually deliver, sign models, deliver good results, and take that money back as well. So, the truth is, if your job itself is getting in the way of running your OnlyFans management agency, and it's not getting away in the sense of you just being lazy when it comes to it, you've got a few hours in the evening and you're just pissing it away doing playing video games or watching YouTube, if it generally is getting in the way, then quitting your job may be the only solution you've got, and you can get a little part-time gig while you're still building your OnlyFans management agency on the side. Now, the next question I would ask you is, do you have support on your journey? Support is vital on your journey. If you're going to be making the decision to quit your job, you're going to be having your friends and your family, and if you're dating someone, your girlfriend, telling you, what are you doing? Why are you quitting your job? You've got this stable job that you spent your whole life working towards, and you're going to throw that all away to commit to building a business. So lots of people are going to be telling you that you're crazy doing it. So you need a thorough support system. Because when I quit my job, I had the exact same thing. All my friends, all my family, my girlfriend at the time were telling me, I shouldn't be doing this. But, I saw an end to quitting my job, and I was already making some decent money on the side from my OnlyFans management agency. So you need to have a good support system. So I did this through finding a mentor. I had a mentor who actually was in the agency space as a whole, wasn't particularly in the OnlyFans agency space, but was in the agency space. And he helped give me the courage in terms of asking the question, should I quit my job? And saying, yes, you should. It doesn't make sense to be working your job. You've got a couple of models and you're making, 3x, 4x what you're making at your job. So, sometimes you need that support system for quitting your job to make that decision in the first place. And you also need it after, because after you quit your job, you're going to be having some doubts that come through. You're going to be a little bit anxious, a little bit scared, a little bit worried. Every time you spend money, you're thinking, I need to make this money back online. But the truth is, if you've got a good mentor in place, then they can actually give you the support that you need going through that transition period. And the final question I would ask is, do you have enough for 3 months worth of living costs? Now, if you don't have 3 months worth of living costs, let's say you had an emergency and you couldn't afford to pay for it, then I would not recommend quitting your 9-to-5 job. I'd recommend building a little bit of money on the side before you make that commitment to plunge yourself deep into OnlyFans management, because it's always good to have at least 3 months worth of security, because otherwise you're going to be really stressed and it may not work out for you. You may struggle when it comes to getting models, and you may actually have to buy mentorship in order to actually get the results that you're looking for. So I would recommend at least 3 months worth of living expenses. If you're living at home, that's great, because your living expenses are going to be very minimal. If you're living with your family, for example. And, if you have quit your job, then what I do recommend is you can actually move to a country where the actual cost of living is really low. For example, you have places like Romania, you have places like Turkey, the cost of living is very cheap. So you can move over to these places, you could be spending really little money to live. And that way you can have 3 months worth of living costs, prior to your current condition, just in a different country. So these are some of the questions that I'd be asking yourself before you make the commitment to quit your 9-to-5 job and go all the way into OnlyFans management. But for all of you out there who may be in your 9-to-5 job and are looking to make money online, let me just assure you that OnlyFans management is the easiest way by far to quit your 9-to-5 job. $2,000 a month, $3,000, $5,000 a month is virtually nothing in the OnlyFans space. It really isn't anything. If you're doing $5,000 a month, that's a very low ticket model. So, and that's most people's wages in a 9-to-5 job, and that's even decent wages as well. So the truth is, you can really easily replace your 9-to-5 income with a model. So go out, if you're working a 9-to-5 job, spend your evenings doing some outreach, spend your evenings building a model recruitment system, invest and learn in yourself. And then once you sign a couple of models, you can then quit your job comfortably, knowing that you're making more money than you're making at your job. And you're going to see, as soon as you quit your job, your earnings are going to skyrocket, because you're going to have all that more time and energy to actually invest in building that business. So I hope this video has been of encouragement to those of you watching it. If it has, make sure to click that like button, subscribe as well. And in the links, we've got some free resources. And you can also book in a call myself if you want to discuss how we can actually help you build an OnlyFans management agency on autopilot to $50K a month within 90 days. So book in that call if you're interested, and if not, I'll speak to you guys again soon.